Hello, my name is Rebecca Tomier, and I will be presenting my applied practice experience for 2022. The purpose of this presentation is to outline the activities and work products produced during the 10-week applied practice experience for my master's in public health program as a graduate requirement for Eastern Washington University. The APE was conducted remotely for the Washington Department of Health Zoonotic and Vector-Borne Disease Program. All program activities were completed remotely with approval of finished projects from my site supervisor. The three major work products I completed was first, the WASERV training document, the mosquito surveillance report for 2021, and additional mosquito data graphs for visualization of mosquito data for 2021. My site supervisor, Mary Chan, is an epidemiologist too, in charge of mosquito surveillance agencies and data collection for Washington Department of Health. Now I will go into my major work products. The first was a training document that will be utilized by local health jurisdictions and tribal partners learning WASERV and mosquito surveillance. The document is designed to facilitate navigation of WASERV and data upload processes. WASERV is Washington's implementation of VectorServe, which went live in 2006. WASERV is a web-based data management system that supports public health efforts in vector control. After cleaning and compiling mosquito data for 2021, I was able to develop graphs and content for the mosquito surveillance report for 2021. The mosquito surveillance report relies on a network of partners comprised of mosquito control districts that record trapped mosquitoes in Washington state for a year. Surveillance systems throughout Washington are established to monitor West Nile virus. West Nile virus is a nationally notifiable condition. The surveillance report outlines all information provided by mosquito control districts to convey data to partners and Washington residents. The report consists of graphs, tables, and descriptions of data collection. Down below, you can see two examples of the types of graphs that are in the report. The first one is the mosquito species trapped in Eastern Washington for 2021, and the mosquito species trapped in Western Washington for 2021. Then I developed additional graphs to help show other ways to visualize the mosquito data. I made graphs by first separating the data to convey county level views, and then by separating the data by vector level views. The graphs can then be displayed on Washington Department of Health website. The idea behind the additional graphs was to show different county statistics, much like is viewed for the COVID-19 data. Right here is an example of one of the graphs that I developed, and it is the total collections for 2021 based on the different vectors. Here is another graph that I developed for the additional graphs, and this is the pippins and the tarsals by agencies total collection for 2021. And on the left-hand side, you can see the different agencies, and then the tarsals will be in orange is red, and the pippins were in blue. So these are the SEAF competencies that I completed during my applied practice experience. I compiled, so the first SEAF connection is SEAF 1, and I compiled and cleaned mosquito data submitted to Washington Department of Health from local health jurisdictions in the Washington Mosquito Surveillance Report for 2021. The data was used to develop appropriate graphs and tables for for the best visualization of the mosquito data. Graphs and table development were based on the best methods to ensure the data could be easily comprehended for all audiences. I developed additional graphs from the mosquito data to show individual county mosquito statistics for visualization on the Washington Department of Health mosquito website. The next CEIF competency connection was CEIF 2, and I met with Mary Chan, the site supervisor, remotely to develop the best practices for cleaning the mosquito data in various statistical programs such as RStudio and Microsoft Excel. Additionally, the meetings with Mary were to develop methods used for the mosquito visualizations and final approval of finished products. The next CEIF competency connection was CEIF 4. After cleaning and compiling mosquito data, the information was compiled into the 2021 Mosquito Surveillance Report. Graphs and tables were included in the report along with supporting documentation. Supporting documentation included a description of the data that could be conveyed and easily interpreted to everyone that utilized the document. The next competency connection was C18. Creating the internal training resource for local health jurisdictions and tribal partners to learn how to navigate and report mosquito data on the WASSERV platforms. WASSERV platform is the best digital resource for compiling and using data. Local health jurisdictions and tribal partners who can use this platform will have an easier time collecting and visualizing data results. The Mosquito Surveillance Report for 2021 posted on Washington Department of Health mosquito website needed to be understandable for all audience. Public health professionals utilize the surveillance report and all Washington residents also access it. Therefore, the report is needed to be clear and concise with information for all audiences. The last CEIF competency was cleaning mosquito data for local health jurisdictions and was completed in 2 ways. First, using RStudio and then Microsoft Excel. Data was first cleaned using a statistical tool developed in Excel to compile mosquito data into a workable format. Once the data was in a workable design in Excel, the newly formulated tabs had to be verified with the previous tabs and formatted further. Once all of the data was in a workable format, free of errors, the data was verified using RStudio. RStudio was used to make sure all mosquito counts were correct according to the original tabs on the Excel worksheets. After the mosquito data was cleaned and verified, the data was then used to develop relevant graphs and tables for the mosquito surveillance report. Microsoft Excel was used to create graphs and tables for the surveillance report. The map on the surveillance report was developed using the Washington Department of Health visualization tool. Reflection. All of the training and work products produced during my APE were extremely helpful for my overall work goals. Skills working in a realistic environment, training completed during my APE is like real job training. In the digital world we now live in, the utilization of Microsoft Teams and email for communication is a handy tool. Professional knowledge, skills, and abilities. I learned so much during my APE. One important skill I learned is always to keep a line of communication open between myself and my supervisor. During my APE, I should have utilized communication more between myself and Mary. While I thought I was asking too many questions, Mary expressed that I could have come to her more to help with clarification for my final work products. In addition to communication, I learned a new platform to collect public health data, WASSERV. WASSERV is an essential tool in managing and visualizing mosquito data and vector-borne data. Establishing groundwork and providing network for professional development and growth. I am currently employed at Washington Department of Health. I only work with COVID-19 data and teams that work closely with the data. Working with the zoonotic and vector-borne team allowed me to make new connections and learn more about the many things that Washington Department of Health is in charge of to increase public health for Washington. Mary expressed that she enjoyed working with me, which is helpful for my future careers. I think the number one compliment I received was my willingness to learn. Facilitating recognition of professional and personal strengths and weaknesses as relevant to the public health professional role. A weakness I need to work on is communication. While I did think that I was bugging my supervisor, it is important to ask every question before I make a mistake and have to fix it. Strengths I possessed include initiative, reliability, my drive to learn and try new things. My skills can be used to help increase public health in every possibility as I continue to be flexible in my eagerness to learn. The assessment of my personal career goals. After completing my APE and stepping out of my comfort zone, I wish to continue to learn in any role that I have in the future. I want my career to be engaging and never be redundant. Preparing me for employment. I have learned that increased knowledge of digital platforms such as RStudio, SQL, Excel, and Word will be necessary for my future goals for employment at Washington Department of Health. Continually growing my skills in digital platforms and making sure my skills in education are relevant. In conclusion, working with the Washington Department of Health for the zoonotic and vector-borne disease program, I created work products that were challenging and interesting. The work products I produced during my APE include, excuse me, the 2021 Mosquito Surveillance Report, additional graphs for mosquito webpage, and the WASSERV training document. To complete the final projects, I had to first do training on WASSERV platform and other relevant training to help support my understanding of mosquito surveillance. After training was completed, I spent a significant portion of time cleaning submitted data from local health jurisdictions using Microsoft Excel and RStudio. Once data was compiled and cleaned, I was able to develop the 2021 mosquito surveillance report and additional graphs for mosquito visualizations. All work products were discussed in detail with my site supervisor through Microsoft Teams and email. After all the products were completed, Mary Chan, the site supervisor, would review the documents and send revisements via email. If additional clarification were needed, I would set up a Teams meeting with Mary. All work products were completed with high satisfaction from Mary Chan. Thank you.